told me don't be soft, 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 little homie, don't be soft, 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 soft. They told me don't be soft, you should play your part. What's it really mean to have heart? Just be really mean, low esteem, keep your thoughts to yourself, what they sell, but I'm tired of being hard. Like this is what you want, huh? Want me to be tough, huh? Cause I see the real you, want be on the front, huh? You scared to be soft, yeah, why you so scared to be soft, yeah. Hey, body jacking therapy, I've been in there since 10 years old. Since when I had to hide it, make excuses for my schedule. Oh, got brave enough to say doctor's appointment, but still never told. When I was so used to pain, was scared of what could pleasure hold. Since I can't show them me, said I'ma impress them more and make them see a version of myself that they'd acceptance. So I grinded for whoever was my target demographic. That's why it's taking me so long to truly draw my inner atlas. But that done made the map now. The truest me ain't gonna play the background. Ain't looking for no one to give me pass now. I wake up with integrity, I got it for the Lord. All it cost was years of work, trying to reveal my hurt, finding where my fears would lurk, trying to make the tears occur. Got hit, now the ceilings burst. Times I couldn't feel my worth.
All right, I think we're just about ready to kick things off. I want to thank everybody for joining us for this virtual watch party to celebrate not only Peel Them Layers Back and the excellent work that this organization does and that Archie and all of you do, but to also highlight this really special moment. Good Morning America, as you all know, is featured Peel Them Layers Back on their 50 years of hip hop segment, celebrating the 50 years that hip hop has existed. And that's a really, it's an honorous occasion. It's a pivotal moment that this organization, this Cleveland-based organization that uses hip hop as a tool for mental health, is being honored on a national platform 50 years after the beginning of hip hop. I mean, that's huge. And I know that means a lot to Archie and all of the team. And tonight we have an excellent arrangement of speakers and some hip hop trivia we'll throw your way. So I'm super excited for that. And really just think of it as a celebration. So I'm excited to hear from all of you. And before we get into anything, I do want to get right to that hip hop trivia because I do love some of these questions. I don't know if it was Archie or who it was who put this together, but some of them I didn't even look at the answers because I want to be surprised myself. So although I know a lot of them. Shelly, shout out to Shelly. So we'll start with an easy one, and it's an appropriate first question. So what is the name of the pioneering hip hop group that released the song Rapper's Delight in 1979? Let's see what we got here. Are people going to have their mics on, Shelly, or is it just all in the chat?
I think whatever works. I think we get some interaction. You can speak up if you know the answer. Not me not knowing the answer. I gotta go.
Nobody knows this.
Gang. Your Sugar Hill Gang.
I gotta go look.
Okay, there we go. Who was that answered?
Shavonda.
There we go. Sugar Hill Gang. Thank you. I'm glad someone got that one because that's an important one. Another easy one. Which rapper released the album 444 in 2017, which addresses his infidelity and the impact of his actions on mental health and relationships?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Let's go. All right, I want to do a hard one before we really get rolling because I think it is an interesting and important one right here. So, what is the name of the first commercially successful rap album? So released. Here's a hint. It was released in 1984 by Run DMC.
Finger Rock.
No, miss. Answer, it was
This
Run
is a
DMC.
trick question.
Run DMC by Run DMC. First commercially successful rap album. All right, we got one more, and then I'm gonna we'll start opening up to some of our first speakers here. Who is the rapper? It's too easy. This one might be too easy. We got to find something appropriate. Okay. Who's the rapper that released the song 1-800-273-8255 in 2017, addressing the issue of suicide prevention and encouraging people to seek help for mental health struggles?
Logic.
Boom. Let's go. See, I might have to just only stick to hard questions because there's a lot of hip hop heads in here. So
I feel like most of these are easy questions.
There are a lot of easy ones, but I like this one right here. So who is the female rapper who became the first solo female rapper to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1984? So the first female rapper to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, 1984.
Was it Roxanne Shante?
That's correct.
Wow. Okay.
And song title, Roxanne, Roxanne.
Hip hop is in my DNA, y'all.
I'm saving a really good one for later that we'll get to, but cool. So yeah, fun way to kick things off. And I know that, I mean, this is a really it's a big year. You know what I mean? Like if you really think about what it means for hip hop to have been around 50 years and still have the power that it holds, and it's gone through so many evolutions. You know, there's been good times, bad times, and weird times, but it's always creative. It's always flourishing, growing, and touching culture. And in a lot of ways, I think that it's appropriate that Peel Them Layers Back is connected to this celebration in this moment. So we'll open things up here in a second. I'm going to introduce Shavonda Johnson in a sec here. Let me see. So just some background on Shavonda, and I'll let you also give some background on yourself. But Shavonda Johnson is a licensed independent social worker, and in her profession and passion as a social worker, she serves as a therapist with adults. Currently, she works in the state of Ohio prison system and works part-time at Meadows Counseling, LLC, which is a private practice in Columbus, Ohio. Her passion for helping individuals in their times of need led her to this career. So as a therapist, Shavonda works to create environments that work towards reducing stigmas about mental health treatment, especially in Black communities. When she isn't working, she enjoys being involved in service at her church and with her sisters of Zeta, somebody forgive me because I'm not a big on sororities. What's your sorority?
Zeta Phi Beta sorority.
Zeta Phi Beta, thank you. Or having fun at the gym. So Shavonda, will open it up to you.
All right, everybody, what's up? Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time this afternoon to join us and be with us. As Juan said, my name is Shavonda Johnson. I am the very proud president of the Executive Board of Directors for Peel Them Layers Back. I grew up in Akron, Ohio, so shout out to the Northeast, but currently have been hailing from Columbus, Ohio for the last 12 years. And I am just so excited to be able to share this platform, share this experience, share this monumental time in the organization. I just want to, take a moment to thank Archie. You'll hear a little bit from him later, but I just want to thank him for always being obedient to making sure that his dreams, his passions never fell dormant. And he was very obedient to what it is that, you know, he felt like God called him to do, because there would be no PDLB without him taking a step of courage to kind of take some of his problems and challenges in life and be very pivotal and progress and make something that is really transforming the lives of not just our young men, but really our whole community. And I see the vibes. I know where PDLB is going. As you know, we just recently dropped a new line in which we really spent time focusing on our 3 E's: educate, equip, and empower. And that is exactly what PDLB does in our greater Cleveland community, as well as all of the different realms that we touch. So I wanted to spend some time just talking a little bit about why the work of PDLB is so important to me. And you'll hear several speakers throughout the day kind of share why PDLB is so important to them. So I kind of met Archie. I was actually on a panel with his wife, and I shared that as a therapist, I use a lot of hip hop as a treatment modality. Like Juan said earlier, I work in the prison system. I be out here slanging these therapeutic models in Ohio's penal system, also known as a trap therapist. And so sometimes feelings, like we don't do feelings in prison a lot of times. And so I use hip hop to help people find relatable lines, relatable experiences, and use that as a kind of first step to get people to open up about their experiences, traumas, anxieties, feelings. And so hip hop is a big part of my life. So when Archie asked me to be a member of the board, it was a resounding yes, because it is just very parallel with what I do in both my professional and personal life. I made a post on Instagram just the other day about the light that hip hop brings to my life. I love female MCs. I love fashion. I love, as you can see, I have my sneakers in the background. So hip hop is just a big part of what I do, who I am, and how I continuously evolve. And PDLB is just a representation of that. And so I wanted to also encourage you to take time to explore our social media, explore our website, explore our Cope Dealers program, because these are the things that are about to change the world, right? There are a lot of organizations that focus on mental health. There are a lot of organizations that focus on Black young men, Black boys. There are a lot of organizations that utilize different things to engage youth and young people and build community. But there is no organization that does all three, especially the way that PDLB does. So that being said, I want you to really, I'm a therapist, so I'm gonna do a little therapy thing. Don't mind me spreading my therapeutic glitter, okay? But I really want you to take a moment and just envision this, like, right? We're using some guided imagery, AKA envisioning the bot. Right. And so what I want you to think about is a young person in your life that you care about. If you don't have any young people in your life, just envision maybe what it was like when you were a young person, right? Envision what it is that you needed as a young person in order to feel heard, in order to feel validated, in order to feel supported, in order to feel freedom to be who it is that you wanted to be. And if you didn't have that, think about what it would be like if you did. And that's exactly what PDLB does. And we embrace the element of hip hop, right? The most beautiful thing about hip hop is that it gave people an element to create when doors were closed, right? When you think about fashion, when you think about art, when you think about music, right? When you think about 1973 and DJ Kool Herc at the back to school thing, when you think about that wasn't even something that somebody was looking for. And then as it continued to grow, people tried to reject it and it only became bigger. Right? It only became bigger because it was an opportunity for people to create in a lane that didn't exist. And that continues to happen today. Right? And that is what our young people need. They need the freedom to be able to be who it is that they want to be. They need the freedom to be able to express themselves. They need the freedom to be able to take those and be able to express real, authentic, genuine emotion. And that is what PDLB allows us to do. We are building generational health. I know we talk a lot about generational wealth, but we are building generational health. Okay. And so that being said, the work is extremely important to me. It really shifts and moves how I view myself as a therapist. And honestly, it inspires me and encourages me to go harder each and every day, right? The work of this board is, it is a hefty grind, but the reward is so much better because we allow people to get what they need. So that in closing, you'll hear a lot, you'll see a lot, but more than anything, I want you to truly consider sowing your seed and investing. I promise it's not a church service. I'm not going to pass the virtual bucket, but I believe that where we invest our time, where we invest our money, where we invest our energy is what we will see come to pass, right? And investing your resources, your connections, your support of the organization is so powerful because you are contributing to that generational health. So take some time, think about it, connect with any of us board members, and more importantly, just share, retweet, like our things on social media. Good Morning America is a good step, but it's not our last step. And so if you want to be with us, you continue to be on the PDLB bus of support. We would love that. And just stay engaged with us because we are about to continue to impact and transform the lives of our young men, our Black young men at that. And it's always going to be that special fusion of hip hop, which changes the game. So thank you for allowing me to spend a few moments to say say that. I look forward to continuing to connect with you in the chat. And I know the rest of this program is about to be fire. So I hope that if you know someone who's not doing anything, send them the link, let them know what's up, tell them to join us for a little bit, and I'll be around.
Awesome. Thank you, Shavonda. And I love the while you were talking, what came to mind was the lyrics from The Message. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. And it definitely, mental health was a part of hip hop before hip hop even knew it. So thanks for those words and the idea of generational health. Love that as well. So now we're gonna play a video featuring Randi Simon, a producer of Good Morning America, has given us a little shout out.
Hey everyone, it's Randi from GMA. Cheers to making your TV debut. Everyone at GMA was so impressed by your organization and what you're doing out there for mental health. And I just wanted to say congratulations and, keep going. This is something really, really important you're doing. I had the best time out there with your team. I hope one day the Cope Kingz will feature me on a track. I'm still waiting for the call. Archie, come on. You know what I could do. You saw me in the booth. Anyway, enjoy your debut. Congratulations and cheers.
Awesome. And now I think, Shelly, if we can play that segment on Good Morning America, that'd be awesome.
We turn now to rap and mental health. The American Psychiatric Association says only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care are actually getting it, and because of factors like lack of insurance and fear of treatment. But one man is working to change this using hip hop as therapy, and Michael has his story.
Hip hop has allowed me to thrive in times of need.
It was in those times of need that these 4 young men who call themselves the Cope Kingz discovered Peeled Them Layers Back, a nonprofit organization that uses hip-hop as a form of therapy.
We the young black boys with precision, but it ain't always with guns, it's always with the mental.
Ideal coping mechanisms for people to, get through a tough time.
It was founded by hip-hop artist and mental health advocate Archie Green as a way to destigmatize mental health in Black and brown communities.
That was birthed from my own pain and lived experience. I didn't know whether or not therapy was for me as a Black male. As a hip hop artist, I channeled my pain into my art.
It's nothing but a beautiful mess. Now watch me peel them layers back.
His art inspiring him to create a 10-week program offering a safe space for kids to create their own original music as a way to bridge the gap in mental health disparities in communities that need it the most.
A lot of times, Black youth are ignored. They want to feel validated. They want to feel heard. Instead of being shunned for having feelings, for acting out because there's no food at home, or dad walked out on the family, or we give them something easier. If I can channel therapeutic practices through hip hop, it doesn't feel as awkward. It feels like something I can have a connection with.
That connection drawing in 19-year-old Cavier Hill 2 years ago.
I honestly didn't know how to attack depression, so I would keep a persona that pleases everyone else. I really thought it was just another therapy session because I've done therapy and counseling before and it didn't hit home for me. Archie delivered everything was just so different. It was like he was my brother.
What's good, Cope Kingz?
It's a lot of things happening in the world today. So I sat down and put the pen and pad and wrote some things.
That brotherly love also felt by 19-year-old Taj Banks.
We all made these songs when we were in a tough spot. Everything we speak of is from the heart and from the soul. The program has showed me that there's going to be hurdles, but you can get over it.
The program, also offering additional mental health services from professionals.
My brothers, Cope Kingz. What's happening? What up?
Like licensed social worker Ivan Conard.
What hip-hop music does is it becomes a vehicle or catalyst to say, hey, when you were feeling this way, what is a way to manage that emotion?
Be open-minded with yourself.
Throughout that program, we were able to identify songs and help me dig out of that space.
Ivan also encouraging the boys to create their own hip-hop inspired mantras to help them hold their heads high.
I will change the perspective of a black man in America.
I will become the king that I was destined to be.
I will inspire others with my music.
We are the Cope Kingz.
As a young black man trying to be great, I pray for peace and love and still get hate.
So powerful, guys, and our thanks to Michael for bringing us that story.
Let's let that resonate for a second. I mean, that's a big moment. That's a big moment. And I felt, honestly, I felt emotional while I was watching that, because I'm just thinking like there may have been even, a young kid who just sees that on TV in passing, and that may be their first exposure to like, therapy through hip hop with someone who looks like Archie getting through to them. It's like, that's a big moment. So I think, we would do a round of applause if we were in person, but you kind of know what I'm going for, but that's huge. So I love that. Seriously, goosebumps. So I think, let's introduce, some of the people who have been impacted by Peel Them Layers Back. So I have KV, Q, Zay, and Taj. I'm not sure if they're all here, but we're going to introduce the Cope Kingz, graduates of the Cope Dealer program, and hip hop artists. And I would love to hear, their thoughts on PDLB, this moment, and overall their general experience with this moment.
I don't know if y'all want me to go first. Really, I just had a good time doing it overall. I feel like it was a big impact on me just getting through school, definitely, because I struggle with school. And it really gave me something to look forward to. And then I remember when Archie came and performed, it was it was good to see all of the Black people come together, watching and stuff. So and then afterwards, I remember talking to him, and he was genuine, and he came and talked to us. He wasn't wasn't acting like no celebrity. So I don't know, it definitely stood out. And then I definitely think it stood out the way the first meeting we had, there was a lot of people, and now it's it's 4 of us, you know what I'm saying? And I think that speaks wonders, because it's not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like hip hop is viewed negatively sometimes. And so for the people to seek out the positive in it, for us to seek out the positive in it, is definitely something that's big. And I just appreciate everybody that's put in their work, and I'm proud of us for being on DMA. I feel like that's a big move.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Do we have another Cope King up next? Chop.
Oh, what's up?
How's it going?
How y'all doing today? How everybody doing? How PDLB, everybody, how everybody doing? I'm currently in the studio right now, and I do apologize, but I just was not finna miss this. I just wasn't finna miss all this, because this is something big for me. So honestly, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. I'm still getting goosebumps. I still got them. All I know is I'm just gonna keep persevering. And the way that this program has spoken out to me in a lot of different languages that I didn't think it was going to be able to hit me back in, honestly, it was good for me to be able to apply it, actually be able to apply it. Because I've done therapy, I've done counseling, but it was just, I just felt like there was nothing I could actually apply to my life besides repeating what they told me. And it's just well, how do you put that into when I'm like this? But they came out to me if you're like this, then you can apply it in this way. And that's what really changed me. That's what really got me that's what really has me still using the things that they taught me, like meditation, saying my mantra, create new mantras. You ain't even got to just have one mantra. You can have multiple mantras that you can say daily that could be your affirmation to keep you going throughout every day. This program is so different, and I think like it just has to keep going. It has to keep pulling out. It has to keep spreading out in a lot of different areas, because this is, like I said, this opportunity is huge, huge. And being on, not just being on TV, like being on TV and like y'all knowing why I'm on TV, it's not like no bad reason. Like I was telling people about it, like I was telling my neighbors about it, and they was just like, "Oh, you wasn't on the news for taking somebody's life or nothing." I'm like, this good stuff. This good stuff. So it feels good to be able to say that I have something good to show for it. And not to mention that I'm actually, it's still having that effect on me every day. So that's really how I personally feel. I just want to thank Archie, I thank Shelly, everybody. For real.
Awesome. Thank you, Chop. Or KV. Is that KV?
Both. Do it.
Okay, sweet. Do we have another speaker with us from the Cope Kingz?
I think that was all the Cope Kingz that we have here.
Okay. Yeah, another question for the Cope Kingz, if we can, just because I do think we got some time with us. You spoke about what this moment was like, what it's like working with PDLB. I'm curious what your experience was with mental health, kind of before Peel Them Layers Back, and the stigmas around mental health, and how working with Peel Them Layers Back has kind of changed your perspective on mental health and how you communicate with the people in your life about mental health.
My mental health before PDLB, was soulfully me. I say it was me. I didn't know, like, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad, but I also didn't know what I was doing. But I knew I had an outline. I knew I had an outline that I could follow. I just didn't know how to follow it. And like, usually, like, well, for me, I just thought, like, since, everybody got all my friends have their own parents and stuff, and they got they families and everything. So I really pay attention to how, like, my friends' perspective of life is compared to mine. And not like a compare and contrast thing, but like to compare how they deal with their everyday challenges that are in some form like mine, and they line up with my same brainwave. And honestly, it was not easy. It was not easy being able to express myself the way I do now. It was not easy being able to find some kind of meditation or even understand what meditation was. Be able to do my outlets. I just knew I had an outlet that I loved doing, and it was music. I just knew I could do it. And I just knew, like, that was my second home, when at home just did not feel like at home. I couldn't go to my mom. We just didn't see eye to eye on each other's mindsets. And, I just didn't know how to approach that. She didn't know how to accept it. It was a lot of different ramps that just wasn't lining up with each other, and it had me lost. But it had me so lost to where I was like extremely overly positive about life in general, and they just, to the point where like everybody just knew, like, they knew something was wrong with that dude, something wrong with boy. But he's nice, he's bubbly, he's social, he's got a great personality. He just keep going. And I just feel like I'm the book of Job, just enduring everything, going through so much different stuff and just packing it on and just pushing it through, because I know something is going to come out of that. Some kind of work is going to come out of that. And I think that opportunity with Cope Kingz and meeting Archie Green was that opportunity. I just think that's
We will pass to Zay here in a sec, but KB, we had a request. Someone mentioned there's a story about teaching your mom about meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about that?
Most definitely. It was a day where I just tried something completely different. And this is me when I'm in a mindset of being okay with stepping out of my comfort zone, because that was one of the main problems with me whenever I would approach my mother is, well, what if she thinks this? And, I would just go through a whole pro and con and never had the conversation. And being in the being able to like have my own meditated state and being able to like just knowing I have that thing going on and I was able to master it, understand it. I'm like, what if I could teach it? What if I could what if I'm not saying my mom is gonna break, because all the times I ever did was brick wall, but we're gonna try today. And one situation came up and she just seen me sitting down. She's like, what are you doing? And like, I'm meditating. I just told her what I was doing. I told her I was meditating. And she was just like, and I asked her to sit down with me. I asked her to sit down with me. And it was just like, it was so unexpected for her to be able to see me out the way and also see me in like this different kind of character that she sees. And she's just like, well, he meditating. He meditating. He ain't smoking. He meditating. Why are you meditating? And I just tell her, like, meditation, like, this is the program that you signed the paper to allow me to be in. This is what it's doing. If you want to meditate with me, that's, I'll tell you what meditation, And then she got more intrigued with what I was doing in the program. And then next thing you know, I'm sitting crisscross applesauce in front of her. She's crisscross applesauce on the floor, and she don't got her phone near. She don't got nothing to smoke near. This is just my mom just here with me in that moment. And I'm telling her about meditation. And I don't know as far as her mantra. I haven't really asked her about that, but honestly, the meditation, just knowing that she has the meditation down packed is like a huge step for me, because then like the day after that, actually I won't say the day after, I say like about a weekend after that is when I started catching her in like raw moments of her just wanting to get more time for herself. And I know my mother, she breaks her back for everything that she works for, just for the little progress that she has now. So to see her want to like have more of her time herself was different. It was different for me.
That's a beautiful testimony. And I definitely know that the topic of therapy and mental health can be really challenging for some families. And so it's beautiful that you all were able to have that moment, and that you could kind of start a dialogue with her because of what you learned from this program. So thank you for sharing that. So let's open it up to Zay. And Zay, the same questions that were kind of asked apply to you as well. I'm curious to know, how this program changed your perspective on mental health. And another thought, I'm curious what you would want someone of your generation to know about mental health.
Yeah. Before the program, I wasn't in I wouldn't say I was in a good space. I felt like I was kind of stagnant and just being a person I could be so I can maintain. And coming into it, it gave me like a way to like definitely express myself and express how I was feeling. And yeah. And what was your second question? I'm sorry.
And what would you want someone of this generation to know about mental health of your generation?
I would just tell somebody to first I would tell them to keep an open mind to it. And I would tell them that it works. And if you like truly put effort into it and like I said, have an open mind to like believe in it, it will definitely help you, and it definitely gives you skills throughout life that you could use for like long periods of time.
No, I appreciate both of you sharing. And I think, that it's a great example, not only for your generation, but for humanity in general, that you all can be so vulnerable and strong and talk about these topics, because it's not easy, especially when you have certain traumas or, you know, you're going through certain things. I definitely know even firsthand that it can be, it's scary, you know, and not everyone has a community or support or education on these topics. So I think it's really impressive to see what you all have done and what you do through the music and the work you do with Peel Them Layers Back. And it's inspiring for sure. So I hope that you all are proud of yourselves and that you recognize that you deserve to be featured on that segment. You're doing great work and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it for sure.
Awesome. So quick, we have a couple minutes here. I just want to throw in, you know, Archie had asked me to host this event, but I actually was one of the team members when Peel Them Layers Back was first getting off the ground. You know, Archie was reserving spaces in public libraries, and we were trying to fill rooms just to get the conversation going, doing whatever we could with just poetry slams. I'm not sure there was much of a budget back then. There was definitely not staff. Now you guys have a board presidents, and you know there's grants and all these things. But at the time, one thing that was definitely the same was that Archie Green was dedicated to starting a conversation around mental health through hip hop. And that's huge. And this was before, you know, a lot of mental health conversations were being started in the news. This is pre, you know, Kevin Love, pre Pharrell, pre all of that. You know, it was still coming to light, you know, how powerful of a tool hip hop could be to kind of spread those messages. So I just wanted to highlight that and kind of share my personal connection to this. So it really is an honor to be here with you all. And I really appreciate the Cope Kingz kind of opening up and being vulnerable too. So so now we're going to get into some additional trivia. And actually, before that, even I do want to mention, you know, Peel Them Layers Back is a beautiful organization, and they are accepting donations. I think Shelly can provide a link, but I just want to remind everyone that you know, any donation made to Peel Them Layers Back can help cover, you know, the Cope Dealer Initiative. You just heard from the Cope Kingz, and you know, so you can cover the cost of at least one participant or even a portion. And Archie says all the time, you know, no donation is too small. So anything you can give, I'm sure would make a huge impact. And I just want to put that out there as we start to look at some of this additional trivia. So definitely donate. It's a wonderful organization doing great work. And so I want to get to a hard question I was looking at over here. So which rapper and actor has spoken publicly about his struggles with bipolar disorder and has advocated for greater understanding and support for those with mental health challenges?
This is the answer, Kid Cudi. I'm
You know,
sorry.
I think that would be a valid answer. I'm not sure if Kid Cudi has ever expressed being bipolar, but it might. He is definitely a mental health advocate, but it's not Kid Cudi. Hint, he's no longer with us, unfortunately.
DMX.
Boom. DMX. We got another one here. This is an easy one just to warm us up. What is the name of the legendary rapper and producer who released the album Illmatic in 1994, which is widely considered one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time?
Nas, and he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Boom. I'd have to agree. I would have to agree. So what is the name of the landmark 1991 album by the rap group NWA that is widely considered one of the greatest and most influential hip hop albums of all time?
Niggas with Attitude.
It is not.
That's not Niggas with Attitude? No.
That's the name of the group.
That's the name of the group. My bad, y'all.
Any other guesses?
Straight Outta Compton.
Oh, that's the.
Yeah. Correct. Another one from this generation. Which rapper released the song Love Yours in 2014, which emphasizes the importance of self-love and mental health?
J. Cole.
That's one of my favorite songs. I don't know if you all have checked that out, but whenever you're feeling like that weird feeling on social media where you're comparing, yourself to other people, or you're in your own head and you're not appreciating what's around you, I really recommend listening to that song. I don't know where he was mentally when he made that, but that's definitely one of my favorite kind of mental health related songs in hip hop for sure. All right, another one here. Which rapper who has a history of substance abuse and mental health struggles released the song Self-Care in 2018, which discusses the importance of taking care of oneself and seeking help when needed? This one has you all stumped. This question was labeled as medium difficulty, so that's wild.
When I was putting these questions down, I put them down as to what I thought was easy, medium, and hard.
That's good.
And I would say that my personal hip hop knowledge is not that great. So the scoring might be a little incorrect.
So the answer, the rapper who released the song Self-Care in 2018 is Mac Miller. Definitely another artist who's outspoken about, substance abuse and mental health struggles. So, all right, we have a hard one now. This is a hard one if you don't know the deep history. Who is credited with hosting the first ever hip hop party in August 1973? So we're very close to that anniversary.
Kool Herc's little sister.
Actually, he might know even more than us because DJ Kool Herc is the answer, but if we look in the crates, it might actually be DJ Kool Herc's little sister. We might need the judges to help us confirm. But yeah, that's correct.
We'll let that one go. It was originally Cindy Campbell, Kool Herc's younger sister, who organized the party.
Wow.
Kool Herc was the DJ for that event. But yeah, I mean, that's, it's a good answer for sure.
Good answer. I just think that women being at the front of hip hop is amazing. Just putting that out there.
For sure, the first party. All right, we'll wrap it up with another one here. So, which rapper who released the album A Prince Among Thieves in 1999 has spoken about his experiences with depression and how his music has helped him cope with his mental health struggles?
Is that Prince Paul?
Prince Paul.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, we got it. We do have some other ones, but I feel like a lot of them might be too easy.
That's our board president, man. I just want to say that's PDLB's board president knowing her history.
Oh yeah. No, I love it. All right, so just making sure we didn't skip anybody. Shelly, did we give you a chance to speak and introduce you? I think you're up next, huh? Okay. All right, so let's intro Shelly real quick. So Shelly Gates was born and raised and currently resides in Cleveland, Ohio. She has been proudly serving Peel Them Layers Back since August of 2021. So she serves with an everything is figure outable. I love that. Everything is figure outable attitude, and her dedication shines through in her work. Shelly has a passion for uplifting her community in any way she can, although her favorite way is through showing her peers, colleagues, associates, friends, and family through her actions that everyone is capable of greatness. So we'll open it up to Shelly Gates, and that might be one of the best bios of all time.
Wow, thank you. I wrote that myself. Well, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Honestly, I love PDLB. I say it all the time. I tell people all the time I love PDLB. Easily my favorite client, easily the easiest work for me to do. It's easy for me to just get lost in it because I do truly believe this work is important to our health, the health of our nation, our young people, and our Black men. What am I supposed to say?
So you already introduced yourself. So I guess just, share a little bit about your experience with PDLB, Archie, Ivan, the Cope Kingz, and like what's it been like to work with them and be a part of that team.
Yeah, so okay. So KV and Zay touched on this for just a hair. So Archie was actually invited to do a presentation to the students of Camp Roosevelt High School. And I was there. The boys probably don't remember that because they didn't know me at the time, but I was there. And after the presentation was over, the boys ran up to Archie and they were talking to them for like 30 minutes. They were just standing there talking. So I took some photos, and then Archie just went into the guidance counselor's office and he just pitched the Cope Dealer program to the guidance counselor. And the way that this program got started up within 30 days of that meeting and that conversation was kind of insane, actually. And then it just so happened that a lot of the boys that were talking to Archie ended up in the Cope Dealer program. So that photo I took of them when they were all just crowded around Archie, just, talking. I don't know what they were talking about because I was far away. They ended up in the Cope Dealer program, ended up as Cope Kingz. And just watching them go from completely not knowing who Archie was to Archie being their Cope Dealer facilitator, Ivan being a Cope Dealer facilitator, being there on the first day with them to meet everybody and just seeing their growth over the course of the whole program has been super rewarding. I can actually see my work actually like play out in front of my eyes, so I really appreciate it. And then my experience working with Archie has been phenomenal. I love Archie. I love Ivan. I love Shavonda. I love the whole board. I love everybody. I love everybody who supports PDLB. It's really a pleasure working with and for these young men. Me and Shavonda are the only women, but it's okay. We out here. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I loved the process of filming for Good Morning America, just being on the behind the scenes portion of it. And I didn't notice this. I did notice this the second time, is you can see me in the background in one of those shots. But I love working with PDLB. I love the work that we're doing. I can't say anything else other than I love it.
I do have one question. Why is this work important to you? Is mental health something you were passionate about before this was on your radar?
Yes. So I have my own struggles with mental health. I deal with very crippling imposter syndrome. And then also as a woman that doesn't have a father figure, and I don't really have a lot of male influence in my life. So seeing the other men my age, I know that it's important to build them up. Just my friends, just the guys I'm 28 years old, guys around my age, they don't go to therapy. They don't know how to deal with their mental health struggles. They don't know what to do. So having programming like the Holding Space with a Cope Dealer that we offer for free, we are able to do this with, funding and donations and grant money and stuff like that. But having these types of programming that we offer, like the Holding Space and the Cope Dealer program, so that way guys can get some type of mental health support. So that is why I love the work. And honestly, so quick story time. When I first met Archie, I actually met him through his wife, McKay. And at the time, I didn't actually want to take on Archie as a client. But one thing I will always do is I will have a consultation. And when I talked to Archie and he told me about PDLB, his story, he told me that he really needed help. I took him on as a client. I really, at that point, I really wanted to take him on as a client because I couldn't say no to doing this work. You know, like if somebody tells you I'm trying to change the world by healing our community, how can I be like, and I don't want to do that? You know what I mean? So it's, like I said, it's a pleasure working with Archie. It's a pleasure working with Ivan. It's a pleasure working with the whole board. It's a pleasure serving the Cope Kingz, being able to be somebody that they can come to for support, and just being able to see my work is phenomenal. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelly. We appreciate the work that you do, and also these excellent hip hop trivia questions. So thank you for the help there. So we appreciate you sharing. I'm going to introduce next. I'm very honored to introduce, I should say, Ivan Conard, who actually I had the chance to meet at a different Peel Them Layers Back event. Maybe someone can remind me of the name, but it essentially, it was kind of holding space. And what, Ivan, if you can, before you introduce yourself, kind of get people up to speed on the purpose of holding space. I had a really great time there. I think you're a very commanding speaker and leader. And I think that there was a lot of powerful conversations and work that went on in that room. So even after that event, I was running into people from that event, and there was kind of like a special bond, like, hey, how you doing? You good? And I would love to hear about that and kind of the work that you do and who you are.
Oh, facts. Yeah, appreciate that brief introduction. Holding space. Once again, I'm Ivan Conard, licensed social worker, proud program director of Peel Them Layers Back, PDLB, first facilitator of our phenomenal Cope Kingz program, and also, the host of our Holding Space. So Holding Space is an opportunity for Black men above the age of 18 years old to come together and really just have a dialogue about what's going on within their lives. And that can include anywhere from, being a father, not having a father, things as pertains to, their mental health, as pertains to work, overworking, right? Thinking that making money is their only coping mechanism, which it can be one, but that's not the only, outlet that we have as men. We have music, we have friends, we have community, which Juan just alluded to. And ideally, that's one of the crux of Holding Space. But ideally, I'm just, a vessel or one of the guys, just because of my academic background and lived experience, that can provide, a perspective. But Holding Space, anyone who has some type of, experience of resilience, of, overcoming, whether that's trauma, whether that's supporting a friend, we open up that opportunity for you all to come in and either, expose, what you've done, to, support, yourself, your friends, or if you need support, to say, hey, look, I'm having issues with, relationships. I'm having issues with, my parents, my significant other, my job. That opportunity is meant for you. And we got some dope food, we get some good food, you get fed. The first one was at the Gentleman's Cave, so we had, a pool table in there. The second one, we dropped our, our merch, our 3 E's. So that was outside. We're going to have a few more before the year ends. But overall, I've enjoyed, the opportunity to watch, PDLB as well as our Cope Kingz just grow over these past few years. As I reflected, as I was watching, the flick and just reflected on how I met Archie, our first Cope, Kingz, program kickoff, which was crazy. I don't know if we got enough time to talk about that. And even like our last, closeout class, just seeing how we as a team have grown, to know and love each other, as well as just seeing how the world is now seeing the power of not just, mental health and being aware of others' mental health, but adding a cultural aspect to it, which is what we need. 90% of social workers and therapists are, white individuals, the majority white women. When you think about the growing mental illness that's happening in Ohio, especially when you think about suicide, depression, anxiety, it is with Black men. So we need more therapeutic, processes. We might not need more therapists. We are needed, right? But at the rate and how, how much things are growing, we need more therapeutic programs, processes, and ways to actually acknowledge ways of healing, so that we can, get to bare bottom bones of, okay, this is what we can do. So generational health, alluding to what, Vonda, talked about earlier, we can create a system, you know what I mean, to move forward. So it's been an honor. It still is an honor, to grow, to learn, to work with Archie, to work with Shelly, Vonda, Gerard, everyone that's a part of the PDLB community, the Cope Kingz. And I'm excited to see, next year where we at, because this is just the beginning. This is just the hello to the world about our work, what we're, projecting to do.
Ivan, Archie is asking if you can go ahead and tell that story regarding the first and last day of the program, because we do have some time.
All right, I'm gonna be succinct. So first day of the class, y'all, boom. I think this is my first time meeting you too, right, Shelly? Met Shelly, we kicked it off right on. Shelly was on her usual laser beam focus. I already need to get boom, 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 right? I'm like, all right, Shelly, just let me know. I'm cool, calm, and collected, how I try to be. And she like, okay, this is the room. Here go the wellness kits that we're gonna pass out. You need anything else for me, Ivan? I'm like, no, I'm gonna be straight. So I'm in the room, getting the feel of it. We're in the music room, right? So there's a piano, there's like choir chairs. Long story short, just to give y'all a visual. And then I hear the bell ring, and the guys, they begin to slowly trickle in after a few minutes. So as everybody, coming in, I'm dapping them up. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Mr. Ivan. Y'all can call me Ivan, Mr. Ivan, however y'all want to, prefer. So about 12 guys, if my memory is serving me correct, 12 guys entered the room. You know what I mean? They all sat down, then the bell rang again. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, we about to get it rolling. So everybody like, all right, we excited. I'm like, all right, guys, hello again. Literally, as I'm saying, hello, guys, hello again, I hear an intercom, intercom speaker go off and say, this is a lockdown. Everyone remain in your classroom. This is not a drill. Once again, this is a lockdown. Everyone remain in your classrooms. This is not a drill. So mind you, this is all happening within 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes most of me entering the school, meeting Shelly, meeting these guys. This is brand new to me, y'all. I'm a graduate student, about to, finish my master's, still, learning the ins and outs of the game. But this is brand new environment in Kent, Ohio, and I'm from Cleveland. So I'm like, all right, y'all, try to be cool. Everybody else looking around, they're like, man, what's going on? So me being in the moment, I'm like, all right, y'all, I need y'all to come over here and move by this door. It was like an exit door in the glass. It said, worst case scenario, I'm gonna hold this door. Y'all book out. You know what I mean? Out the back. So I started hearing some rattling at the door. So I'm like, all right, y'all, move, move, move. I'm hearing some rattling. Then I hear that it was the counselor. She like, Ivan, it's me. So I'm like, all right. Open the door. I see her head down and she crying. Or I'm seeing some tears go down. She's shaking her head. I'm like, what's going on? I'm thinking something wrong. I'm like, what's going on? You want to come in? And I look behind her. There's two police officers and a man in a suit who turned out to be the principal. And the man in the suit. Two police officers had assault rifles. And they was like, hey, sir, we need to come in the classroom. We believe someone is in here that we need, to basically talk to, get out. I really can't remember the words because it all happened so fast. So I opened the door. Counselor came in. She was like, that's him right there. Long story short, they walked out one of our, Cope Kingz to be, walked them right out in front of us, with the two police officers with the assault rifles. We didn't hear nothing from anybody until maybe the last 5 minutes of class. And as it pertains to what happened, as y'all can probably imagine, everything that I planned to talk about, to introduce, I threw that out the window, right? I threw that out that exit door that I was going to ask everybody to, follow me out of. And I said, y'all, I got to be honest. That just tore me up. And I was like, this is pretty much the ask of this space is for us to be vulnerable. And I can't, ask y'all to be vulnerable if I can't be vulnerable. So I said, everything that I, had planned, I'm not even going to talk about that today. I want to talk about what are y'all going through in your lives? What's happening in this school? Because I'm a foreigner, ideally. And what just happened there showed me a window pane of what, what y'all going through. Fast forward, principal comes back at the end. He was like, hey, it turns out the young gentleman had a pellet gun that he brought to school. And he's been transient, homeless, really not having a place to lay his head. And he was utilizing that weapon, which looked real, as a form of protection. So from that point on, and it's still, it's still kind of within the back of my head is, what are other methods and ways for us to show up for our guys that are experiencing whatever it might be, whether that's being transient, whether that's things at home, whether that's, not having food. That always sat with me. Fast forward, my bad, y'all. I can talk a little bit.
Oh, you're
Fast forward
good.
to the last day of class. Fast forward to the last day, y'all. So boom, by this time we built community, right? We coming in, what's going on, what's new, how classes, what music y'all been working on, what's the logo looking like, right? So we wrapping things up. We got a flow. All right, this is week 10. A security guard comes in. He's like, hey, he talks to me first. He's like, hey, one of your guys stole a wallet, and I need to talk to him. I'm like, one of my guys? I'm like, you sure you got the right class? He's like, yeah. There's a guy wearing white shoes. I'm like, I look in the classroom, I'm like, all my guys, if not all of them, majority of them got white shoes. I'm like, what else did he have on? He was like, well, I can show you the video. I'm like, nah, that's unnecessary. I'm like, well, what do you need? He was like, I just need to talk to him. I'm like, well, which one is it? He literally walked in and was like, I think it's him. Right. And he pointed out our manager. And at that time, he had just won he had just won like some competition. And he was looking to, go to Ohio State. So he's like, you know what, Mr. Ivan, it's all good. I'll chop it up with him. Long story short, fast forward, no one in the classroom stole the wallet. The security guard looked at the wrong camera. That's what I assumed, because our guys, I dap up everybody as they walk in the classroom, and I didn't see any wallet. I didn't see the guys pick up anything as they walked in. And as the security guard came in, he let us know that. He was like, you know what, guys, I apologize. I seen a lot of growth from that first day of security guard coming with police officers coming in with those assault rifles. To fast forward week 10, our Cope Kingz, they was like, you know what, man, before you leave, we got to ask you some questions just about, how you carrying yourself within our school and how you view us, because that just threw our whole vibe off as we beginning to, plan for our, our performance that we about to have in front of the school. That threw off our flow. And our guys were confident, right? They had a different approach as it pertains to being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? They were being able to be aware of what they felt, but not just sit in that, awareness or sit in those feelings, but to acknowledge that and then ask questions to move forward. So I say that all to say, the growth, the opportunity is there. And the more that we build each other, the more systems will take heed and acknowledge that what we're doing is transformative. It's not just about, it is about hip hop music. It is about mental health, but it's just not that, that's succinct. We're doing some system change things that can impact hospitals, that can impact schools, that can impact so many different areas, jobs, that acknowledges, what, maybe we can take heed to, this cultural aspect of hip hop, right? What does it mean to not push me because I'm close to that, like Juan, what you alluded to? What does it mean to have generational health, right? So this is just one of the sparks that we need. So I'm excited. My bad. Once again, y'all can talk y'all ears off about how excited I am about the progress, about the growth, and about the, the never ending, trials that we're going to face. But as long as we love and care for each other, we're going to be solid. I'm going to leave you with that.
No, that's a super powerful testimony. So thank you. And I think, Archie suggested maybe some of the Cope Kingz might want to speak up on that story. Zay, or was anyone else kind of there or a part of that experience?
Yeah, I was there. I was sitting right next to on the first day, I was sitting right next to the dude that got taken out. And prior, me and him, we was close. He was playing football with us, and it was his first year at the school. And me and Q, he was not here, but me and him, we got into, we kind of like brought him in as far as like on the football side, and brought him into our group and was talking to him and stuff. And I just remember that day, and it was just like, I'm sitting next to him, and like Ivan said, the knock at the door and the intercom and all that stuff, like, it was crazy. And they brought him out, the guns and everything. And I'm just like, and at first I'm thinking, I was sitting right next to him, like I'm 5 feet away. My legs is weak. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm thinking they coming for me or something. And I'm not, doing nothing, but you never know what's going on. So I don't know, that was really scary. And the last day, I just remember feeling like, I know, like he said, Tristan was our manager. He none of us are the type of person to steal nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we definitely felt some type of way him coming in there, especially the way he did. Like, I just feel like it could have been different. It could have been handled differently. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely respect Tristan for going out, because if it was me, I probably wouldn't have talked to him. Like, no, I ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Tristan definitely had that. He definitely had that maturity to go talk to him. And Tristan had just got this award in this DECA program, and like that's some big thing in our school. You know what I'm saying? And he smart. You know what I'm saying? So like, he wasn't doing nothing, and none of us was doing nothing. So that was just crazy how that all happened.
Yeah, oh, that's powerful and intense, and I think Ivan too. Kudos to you as well, because I think even just the way you handled both those situations and kind of even being at the door, it goes back to what we were saying about you being a leader. So I think that really it shows character, man. So also before we kind of move on, I wanted to ask you if you have any kind of general remarks around the filming with the Good Morning America segment and what that experience was like, if you could touch on that.
Yeah, it was all fun and love. I'm gonna be honest. Seeing the Cope Kingz, I feel like it's been like maybe like 6 months to a year since the last time I saw him. So catching up with them, but also similar to what Chop said, what KV was talking about, it being under a good occasion. You know what I mean? So it was all love, being able to talk about our experience. Get the cameras and get that experience in front of us. As a unit. You know what I mean? As a family, ideally. So it was all good vibes. Nothing more. All laughs. And good energy.
I can tell you all are really proud of the Cope Kingz, like when you talk about them and what's kind of going on.
Facts. Oh yeah, 100. Because like we said in the beginning, we always going through something. We've all, even me, I was experiencing some things within my life that I had to open up about them with, my grandmother battling cancer. And so we opened up with each other, and being able to, see each other's growth, it means a lot. So, I'm extremely proud of them, extremely proud of our team, our board. We're just going to keep growing,
Cool, man. So we're going to transit. Thank you, Ivan, and thank you, Zay, as well. And to everyone who's spoken tonight. We're going to transition into, just introducing Archie, and you all are familiar with him and the great work he's doing, but I would love to hear from him and kind of have him speak on the inception of Peel Them Layers Back and talk about what this moment means to him, because this organization that, he envisioned and put all this work into and built a team around, being honored on a national platform like that. I can only imagine how that must have felt. So I want to hear from you and kind of hear, what your thoughts are today.
Man, thank you, Juan. I want to again thank you for answering the call when I asked you to host our telecast today, man. Brought back some memories from when we started, man. We were working out of public libraries and trying to get this thing going. And I've always appreciated your support. So I want to start with that. I want to thank Shavonda. I want to thank Shelly, Ivan, the Cope Kingz. I want to thank everybody who has joined this webinar as well. This is a first for us, just kind of taking a moment to pause, reflect, to celebrate this moment for PDLB. It definitely is a sense of pride. And, hearing that story again from Ivan about what the boys went through, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was triggering for me. That is part of the reason why we do the work that we do for Black men and boys. So many times when you turn on the news, and you guys are all witness to it, when KV or Choppa Smoove spoke earlier and was telling his neighbors he was on the news, and they were like, you weren't on there for killing somebody, you're being killed. We as Black men are so used to being statistics, seeing statistics on our timelines, on social media, on the news. And to see these young Black boys lifted, and to see these Black boys that are speaking about self-care and self-love and loving on each other, you know what I mean, through the power of hip hop, it's just, I can't put it into words, man. And when I think about, why this organization was founded, I have to go back to my story. And, some people may know, some people on this call may know, some people watching this may not know. But, for me, it started, when I was younger, around the time I graduated from New York University. I was studying music business, got my master's there. And I was expecting things to really pick up for me and in the music business, trying to make it. And unfortunately for me, that's not what happened. I ended up having to move back home to Cleveland from New York. I didn't have a job at the time when I moved back. I didn't have any money, and I had to live with my parents. So imagine having 2 degrees. I had left the job to move to New York, and on top of that, I had gotten out of an engagement. I had gotten engaged while I was in grad school and ended up going back to Cleveland and breaking off the engagement. So it was the lowest point in my entire life. I just was really kind of wondering, like, man, like, why did my life end up like this? Why would God put me through this? I remember days I'd be on the deck in the backyard working on music, still trying to make it, making beats. And my mom would come out and she'd be like, why are you wasting your time on this music? You need to get a real job. Like, things didn't work out. You tried. Now it's time to go back to work and get a real job. And I just felt so defeated, and I never, ever, still to this day, will never blame my mom or my dad for the way that they felt. But this all contributed to my depression. And, at that time I was drinking like crazy. I was smoking cigarettes and I was having suicidal ideation, wondering like, what's the point of me even being here? Like wondering what the world would be like if I wasn't in it anymore. And I remember those days I would be in bed, and I wouldn't be able to even pick up the phone next to my bed if it rang, because it felt so heavy, because that's part of what depression is. All these things that you normally do feel so much more heavy. And what kind of helped me, start to come out of my shell, I used to watch certain videos. So like I'm still a very big self-help guru guy. So I was watching videos of Les Brown, Wayne Dyer, and one video that really stuck to me at that time, quite literally, I guess pun intended, was a video that Les did called Getting Unstuck. So on my really bad days, I'll just run that video back to kind of, the main thing that that Les would say is, life is hard, so go hard. Like, don't give up. And eventually, later on that same year, I came back from grad school. I ended up getting a DUI. I had just gotten off work. Some of you know the story. I went to the frat house after work, was with my fraternity brothers. We were drinking like crazy. And I was really none of us were in the best form to drive, but I was like well over the limit. And I got pulled over on my way home and placed in handcuffs, taken to a holding cell. And in that cell, I cried my eyes out. I'm like, how is it that I got 2 degrees? I finally started getting back on my feet. I had gotten a job working at the mall. And how did I end up here of all the places I could have been? And I was just like, I felt so defeated. And I had to call my parents to bail me out. And while they were on their way, there was a voice that came to me. I call it the Holy Spirit, I call it God, the universe, but I also feel like it was my subconscious, myself, that came to me. And that voice said, they can trap your body, but they can never trap your mind. I don't know why those words came to me the way they did. I can't explain it. I know I felt it was God speaking to me and telling me, giving me, prophesying on the work that I was going to be doing, the work that I'm doing now. And some months after my DUI, another fraternity brother of mine that looked just like me, more specifically, another Black man, had asked if I had ever considered therapy or getting my mental health checked out. And I had thought about it, but I never thought it was for someone that looked like me, because I never heard anyone that looked like me talk about mental health, talk about therapy. And so I decided to do it. By this time, I had gotten a job working at the bank, which was the same job I had before I moved to New York for grad school. And in that job, I was able to find a therapist through the employee assistance program. And so I made sure that I found a Black male therapist, because that was something that was important to me, that my therapist looked like me. And, I found my therapist, and I was clinically diagnosed with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder, as well as adult separation anxiety disorder. And that was when things started to change around for me. I literally started peeling back the layers of the shell that I had become. The real Archie was still deep inside, but on the outside looking in, I was a shell of myself. And at this point, I had moved in with my sister and my future brother-in-law, and we were living in Shaker Heights, Ohio. And I'll never forget, it was Valentine's Day 2014, I believe, or 2015, one of those. And I was so depressed and down in the dumps. And my girlfriend at the time was there as well. And she and my sister came up with a plan to get me to lift my spirits a bit. They could just tell that I was really down. And so they, one of them asked me to get something for my bedroom. And so I finally got up, peeled myself off the couch, and I started going up the stairs, and I started seeing these arrows pointing towards my bedroom on Post-it notes, on these pink, blue Post-it notes. And so I opened the door to my bedroom, and on the wall were all these Post-it notes with affirmations, positive affirmations about who I am as a person, a beautiful Black man, a king, a great future uncle, which now I have many nieces and nephews, but someone of value, someone of worth. These were words that I needed to hear, and I needed to read out loud to myself. So I know that the Cope Kingz spoke on the segment about those mantras. This is how, literally everything I put into this program, I live with every day. I say these mantras to myself every day. Depression is not curable currently. So I have to live with this every day. So, the mantras, everything, that's where the positive affirmations and the mantras came from my own experience of going through that. And so over time, I worked with my therapist. I started learning how to cope with my mental health, whether it was positive affirmations, exercise, eating right, doing all these different things. And, as a hip hop artist, as someone who, I've been doing music, I was basically half of hip hop's existence for 25 years. I've been doing this music thing. So, I poured my pain into my art, into, what I had experienced, going to therapy and becoming myself again. And I wrote this song called Layers. At the time, I was living in this apartment, and a lot of people don't notice, but I had a neighbor that lived below me that used to complain about noise. If I wanted to play music in my apartment, if it was, and I would have a little speaker, I ain't have no woofers or nothing. She would knock on my door and trip about it. So you may kind of tell, the way I recorded that song, I didn't really project my voice the way that I do now, or the way I've subsequently done on other recordings. And that was partially It was in part because of my neighbor, but in part because I was still going through my depression and not feeling as confident as I feel now. But I recorded this song in this little small apartment, and then you know, I finished working on this album. I was about to put this album out called the Black Pharaoh EP, and my good friend Will Cooper, who at the time was working for Vice, reached out to me, said, "Hey man, like, we're doing this song, this feature on all these rappers talking about depression. Do you have a song about that?" And what's crazy was definitely divine intervention, because it's like, what are the odds that I would have a song about my depression, especially in a genre that which at the time in 2016, nobody was really talking about. Like, hip hop has been talking about mental health since the very beginning, but talking about therapy is a totally different thing. Nobody had been explicitly talking about therapy. And so I say, yeah, man, I got a song. And I submitted the song to Vice. I did the interview. It came out in April of 2016. And within 2 weeks, that song had 25,000 streams. And it was wild to see. Like, it was crazy to see that many. Because I remember one night I was in a meeting and I kept on checking my SoundCloud, and to see like all these thousands of spins and streams go up in one night was insane. Like, it was like my life changed that night. And what that did was that inspired me to start this organization. I didn't know what PDLB was going to be. I didn't have a name for it, anything. It was just something that I felt called to do, because when I saw the response and I saw how many people were moved by this music, by this message, I said, well, we as Black and brown people, we need to speak more about mental health. It's something that is important. It's something that can save lives. And so I just was like, all right, well, I want to start talking about it more. And so I started, you know, doing like a couple different public programs. But I actually, before I even started doing programs, the turning point for me was October of that year. Kid Cudi put out a letter about going to rehab. He was having suicidal tendencies and put out this letter on his Facebook to all his fans. Within 24 hours, I was on the phone with BBC News producers. They reached out to me from London. They were like, you know, we heard, you know, I'm sure you read the letter. We were looking up hip hop artists based in Cleveland, where Cudi is from, to talk about depression, to talk about mental health. We heard your song. We'd love to have you on. Like, y'all, like, since the moment that that song came out, like, my life has never been the same. Like, I didn't understand why God gave me depression until I wrote that song. I'm still, to this day, touching lives across the world based on a song birthed from pain. And so to anybody that's watching that may be going through something right now, either grief, depression, anxiety, imposter syndrome, whatever it is okay to not be okay. We all go through something. We're all going through something every day. It's a constant battle. It's your brain. Your brain is a muscle. There's different thoughts. And I'm a firm believer that we don't own our thoughts. We have to kind of curate what we think. That's why we say these positive affirmations. That's why it was important that our Cope Kingz have these mantras that they say every day, so they believe that they'll be the Black man to change America. They believe that their music will touch people with their message. What we are doing is, you know, to quote our board president, like, we're building generational health. And to do that in the Black community is so important, because it's something that's overlooked so much. So just to kind of talk through what we've accomplished in the almost 7 years since our existence. So I founded the organization in 2016, November of that year, when I put the song out, and we became a formal 501c3 in 2020. So we've been a 501c3 for 3 years. And in that time, first major accomplishment that we had was, we brought hip hop to Severance Hall in Cleveland. We produced a concert called My Violin Weighs a Ton, where we blended the worlds of hip hop and classical music in order to also promote mental health, diversity, equity, and inclusion, one of the biggest landmarks for music in Cleveland. It had never been done before, and I'm grateful to also see what has happened subsequently because of that. Severance Hall is now the Severance Music Center, and you've seen so many different diverse events that have happened there subsequently. So I'm grateful that we were able to help open that door for any and all people to occupy that space, man. And so that was a huge accomplishment. We did that in 2019. We partnered with the Lexington Bell Community Center in the historic Huff neighborhood in Cleveland. Worked with kids aged 4 to 14, teaching them how to play classical guitar, teaching them how to write their own rap lyrics. They performed Old Town Road on classical guitar. And when I also performed with a small ensemble with my good friend Perry Wolfman serving as music director. So that was a huge accomplishment for us in 2019. And then after that, the next big accomplishment for us was the Cope Dealer program. And that was tied to an album that I was working on at the time of the same name. It had different names, different versions, and I felt that this was something that really could be bigger than me. And so I had gone through these different titles, and then like one day it finally hit me, man, like you should call this Cope Dealer. Like it's a really cool, catchy play on words. It turns heads. Like, what'd you say? Like Cope Dealer, not the other dealer. This is the Cope Dealer. So I came up with the name, and I found that I was writing all these songs about depression, about anxiety, about all of these other different mental health conditions, as well as fatherhood and dreams and love and all the complexities of what it is to be a Black man in America. And after I put the album out, I was like, man, like this could be something that's taught in schools. This could be something that can be used as a tool. This form of hip hop can be used as a tool to teach young Black men how to survive mentally, not just physically, but mentally. And so I came up with the concept. I put together a 10-week course curriculum during the pandemic. I was in my office, like all of us, we were stuck in our homes, and I started putting together these different ideas of each week, the boys meeting and talking about the different subject matter of the different songs tied to the album, which the beautiful thing about the Cope Dealer program is now there's more than enough songs in hip hop that tie and touch on these different emotions, whether it's depression, grief, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, as well as the other areas of fatherhood, chasing your dreams. They were all tied together to teach these young men, how to, quite frankly, elevate themselves and how they carry themselves in their community, as well as advocate for themselves. You guys heard when Ivan told the story of the shift in their behavior and how they protected and were advocates for themselves on the last day of the program when they were accused of doing something that they did not do by a security guard. So that's the other element of the Cope Dealer program. We're not just teaching you about mental health, but as Black men, we're teaching you how to carry yourselves in ways that protect you from being a statistic, protect you from against being, judged or, any type of accusations that may be thrown your way because you're a Black man in America. We're also teaching you to be proud and to love on one another. And the main goal with the Cope Dealer program, or with Cope Dealers, period, is we're looking to build a community of Cope Dealers. If you know how to live with your mental health, If you have coping mechanisms that you use every day, and you not only use those for yourself, but you see your brother, your sister, a stranger, and you're able to pour into them the same things that help you, you are a cope dealer. We're trying to foster a community. We want a world of cope dealers. And so it started in Kent Roosevelt, but eventually we want to take this nationwide, man. So that was a huge accomplishment for us. Last year, we had the esteemed privilege of being part of the Moonman Festival. Shout out to Kid Cudi. His team reached out to us and, excuse me, we had a booth for relaxation and restoration at a festival, which, you know, is something that really needs to be there, because like some people suffer from social anxiety. Being around so many people can be like triggering and traumatizing. So imagine having a space where there's hammocks, there's stress balls, there's adult coloring books. We set that up at the Moonman Festival, man. So that was a huge accomplishment. That was a full circle moment for me, because obviously this work started, you know, around the same time that Kid Cudi told his story about going to rehab. So to be able to work with him officially was a major accomplishment for us. And then lastly, of course, man, this past week, you know, being on Good Morning America, this was preordained, man. Again, I know I keep speaking on, you know, how much God has really been a part of this. I mean, he really has fueled this whole mission, you know what I mean? And the work that we've been able to do, the hands we've been able to touch, the platforms that we've been on, you know, it's like, dang, like, where are you gonna take it after that? Like, Good Morning America, like what other level can we go to? So that's what we've accomplished. That's what we have done. As far as what we're looking towards doing, you know, in the next phase of PDLB, as I stated before, we've been around for about 7 years. What we are doing now is looking to continue to build our team. This year, we brought on Ivan Conard, who you heard speak earlier, as our program director. It's now been it's been 2 years since we brought Shelly onto our team. Shelly is a light. She is amazing. Like, she's my partner in crime. Anything I need, I just ask her to do it. She never complains. Like, that's huge. And Shelly probably remembers, but when we first started working together, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna be as far as delegation, because like I've never like told anybody what to do. And so she made it, you know, she made it comfortable for me to do that. And we added a new title to her position. So instead of just being an assistant, she's also the education liaison. So if you're watching this and, you know, you work in education, you work with youth, Shelly is the contact that you'll want to reach out to bring the Cope Dealer program to your school. And so that was a sense of pride, bringing her on board. But as far as programs that we're looking to do, there's been a lot of people since GMA came out, even before GMA came out, that have reached out to me personally, have been like, hey, you know, can you talk to my son? Can you talk to, you know, my friend, you know, who's going through something? And outside of Cleveland, what we're looking to do with the holding space program that Ivan spoke of is we're looking to turn it into a hybrid program. So doing one program in person in our hometown and where we're based in Cleveland, Ohio, and doing one on Zoom, virtual, that's open to any Black and brown men that want to join and have conversation, a whole space around their mental health. So be on the lookout for that information. We're going to be starting that in the fall, and it's the registration and everything is free and open to any Black or brown man that wants to have a conversation around mental health in a safe space. So to answer the question that keeps coming about, like, when are you guys going to come to our town? Well, we're at least going to be doing things virtually. The other thing I want to say is, as far as the Cope Dealer program and all of the different schools across the country that are looking for a program like this, the good news is myself, my board, we put together a training program that anyone that wants to bring this program to their school can go through. So we'll be putting together a plan to start holding Cope Dealer training programs. So that way you no longer have to just rely on PDLB to set up and facilitate a Cope Dealer program. We want this to spread out like wildfire. We want anyone who wants to be a Cope Dealer facilitator to have that ability. So we're going to set that up where anyone that wants to learn how to teach this program, implement it in their school for Black men and boys, can do that. So we'll be announcing the plans for that soon. And then also, you know, I want to bring my Violin Ways of Time back, and I think it's time. You know, we did it. It's been 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in September since we did the first one. And I've been, you know, kind of floating the idea to my team about bringing hip hop back to Severance Hall. But in this regard, you know, instead of just working with youth, I really would love to do, you know, just bring a Black orchestra to Severance Hall and do something amazing around hip hop and classical music. So these are the ideas. These are the things that we have in mind that we would like to do. In order for us to do that, we need your support. So I know we'll probably put the screen back up before this program ends. And thank you to anyone who is watching this live and has already donated to the cause. We are grateful for all the donations that have poured in. Again, there is no big or small donation to this cause because there are Black men and boys dying every day because they feel alone and they don't know that there are other people just like them that can pour into them. So your support is greatly appreciated. And in order for us to continue to elevate and expand, we need your continued support. So we'll be putting that information back up shortly. I want to take a moment to thank our donors. Our biggest donor to date is the Cleveland Foundation. Special thank you to Connie Hill Johnson, the entire board there, to Lillian Curry, and to all the program managers that have reached out to us. A special thank you to the African American Philanthropy Committee, which I'm now joining. They were the very first committee that ever gave us a grant. And at this time, we weren't even 501c3. We just had a fiscal sponsor. So it's been great. It's been a great experience working with the Cleveland Foundation. Special thank you to the Fowler Family Foundation, Char and Chuck. Special thank you to Char, who I've known over the years. Truly appreciate the support that you have given us. And a special thank you to Donovan Mitchell, who also helped us through the grant making process. A special thank you to Cecil Lipscomb and the United Black Fund, who also funded our program, the Cope Dealer program. And to any person, and I know that there's some people who are on this call right now who have donated to us, whether it be of your money, your time, both. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We would not be here. We would not have been on Good Morning America without you. Of course, I want to thank my team. I want to thank my board, Lady Prez, Shavonda. That's my road dog. She's amazing. I still remember when we elected her board president, she was like, "You sure? I don't know if I could do this. I don't know." But she's been killing it, just killing it. Truly grateful for you. Shout out to Gerard, who I know is on the call live. Thank you, brother, again for for answering the call, man, to join the board and for doing the work, and bringing a new exciting grant to our organization, man. Thank you for that. Thank you also to Edwin Hubbard, Nicole Beck, and we also have two newly elected board members, Nick Graves and Dr. Ariel Sheftal. We're now expanding our reach. These are the first two board members that are outside of the Cleveland area. So thankful for that. We will be putting out information. If you are interested in joining the board, we are looking to bring in more board members. So, reach out to Shavonda if that's something that you're interested in. And I also, again, want to thank my staff, Shelly Gates, who again is a superstar in my book, just amazing. And you guys saw Randi earlier. She was like, "Well, Shelly needs to get her own show." So I'm trying to hold on to her as long as I can because she's amazing. Thank you also to Ivan Conard, who, Ivan is a rare gem, like a rare gem. Like, he's my frat brother. We're both in Omega Psi Phi. He is my Morehouse brother. We're both alumni of Morehouse College, historically Black male college in Atlanta, Georgia. And, the other thing with Ivan is, Ivan is a true selfless, leader. Like, he truly is, man. And I truly believe that God brought him to this program and to this organization at the right time. I mean, imagine being in that classroom and the only Black people that you see are other students. Imagine how different it is when you have a Black male licensed counselor to help you process, in addition to his own processing of what just happened. You know, I had heard the story before, but I didn't know that they actually brought like assault rifles. Like, imagine how traumatizing that is. But because PDLB was there, because more specifically, Ivan was there to help these boys process that, it changed their lives. So thank you, Ivan, for being on this team, for answering the call, bro. I love you. And then last, but of course not least, the Cope Kingz, Taj, Zay, Q, KV, Tristan, Amari. I love y'all boys, man. Like, I got so emotional seeing you guys on my TV, you know, and seeing the growth. I know what it was like. I was in them classrooms with y'all. I was driving down to Kent, and, you know, we were having those sessions together and learning from each other. I learned just as much from you guys as you learned from me in this program. And, you know, a lot of people don't know, Zay wasn't planning on doing music. He was like, I'm not really, you know, I'll be in the video, but I'm not really going to, you know, do no music. And then he ended up writing one of the songs, you know, and that was a source of pride for me to be able to pull out something that these boys didn't even know was there, man. And the songs are amazing. And it's beautiful to see that you guys are getting hit up and getting booked for other performances as well, man. So love you guys very much. Continue to pour into each other, pour into the community, and pour into yourselves, man. And with that, I think Shelly put the donation link there. But I also wanted to, if there were, you know, as we have a little bit of time, if anyone had a question that they wanted to ask just about our organization, where we're going, what we're trying to do, or if Juan, if you had any questions, we can open it up.
No, you beat me to it. That's great. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or thoughts, just a couple reminders too, as we have that discussion. There's a couple ways you can support Peel Them Layers Back. We're gonna drop the merch link in the chat here shortly, where you can pick up something from the new line. And then just a reminder to donate to Peel Them Layers Back. You know, 100% of tax deductible donations to PDLB supports their mission to educate, empower, and equip young Black men and boys with the essential tools necessary to live a mentally healthy lifestyle through hip hop culture. And the merch also reflects that as well. So we one of the things that they do mainly through programming such as the Cope Dealer program and their monthly hold'em space and all the events that they throw. If you want to support that, we'll have the link in the chat shortly. So again, if there are any questions for the Q&A, the floor is open now.
I just wanted to say kudos to the team, Archie. You know, we go way back. I remember when we first creating the Peel Them Layers box and getting it together for them, putting the healing stone in it, the pad and the pen, and sitting at this meeting, and just to see where you come from, you know, from that, you know, sitting in office before you were even a 501c3. We're still trying to figure out how that would all going to come about. So now being on Good Morning America, it's just it just warms my heart, you know, because me, you know, we've discussed my personal battles with, you know, being bipolar and stuff like that, and just to see the work that you're doing to make mental health in our communities not just a trending topic, but an ongoing conversation that definitely needs to be had.
Thank you, Roosevelt. I definitely remember, man. I remember the boxes and the journals, and I remember the first fundraising event we did, Root of It All, and how you brought in a mannequin to put the t-shirts on, man. So I've always been grateful for your unwavering support, bruh, and your story. And obviously you one of the OGs from back home, you know what I mean, Heal the Culture, and your brand as well, man. So I truly appreciate your continued support of us, bro.
No problem.
Questions from anyone else, or any statements or things someone would like to share?
Anybody, it could be staff members. Zay, I see you're still on. If anyone has anything else they'd like to say to close us out before we go.
I would just like to share that I think it was so helpful to hear from the Cope Kingz, and it was helpful to hear from Ivan, because, you know, I think that is important to hear how the work continues to impact people, right? I think in summary, one of the things that we really learned today was that even outside of the program, they are still using their skills. They are still, and they're teaching their friends these skills, right? So as we continue to expand our Cope Deal program and expand our initiatives, like, they are, you know, some of our biggest blessings, right? Because it's so important to them that they're sharing it with people that they love. And I just think that that is awesome.
Thank you, Shavonda. Well, if there's nothing, if there's no one else that wanted to say anything, I want to again thank everybody who joined us for the live webcast. And also I want to thank our producer, Portia Booker, who has just been holding us down on the Zoom front and making sure we look good. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. And also, again, check out our new merch, the 3 E's collection. We just dropped. There's a limited quantity available. You can go to our website and purchase that. So that serves as a donation. So it's not just a chance for you to rock a t-shirt or a hat. It is an opportunity for you to support the mental health of Black men and boys through hip hop. So check that out. Juan also put the volunteer form link in the bio, link in the chat as well. So if you're looking to volunteer, primary areas that we really need some help is social media marketing. And Shelly can Shelly, is there anything in particular, like, you know, in terms of like what type of volunteers that you would want to bring to the organization? And Ivan can speak on it as well.
Yes, so volunteers that we would need or we would value a lot, which we would value any volunteers, is people who can help with social media, and who can help with events, coordinating events, helping with events, that type of stuff would be super helpful for me and Ivan, because we put on a lot of in-person events. So yeah, if you or anybody you know would be interested in volunteering with PDLB, that form actually serves as volunteers, interns, and if you're interested in being a board member, you can put that on there as well. Thank you.
In addition, sorry, Shelly.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah. And in addition to that, also, if you're interested in, either supporting through Holding Space or our Cope Kingz, program as a facilitator, please reach out. As we, look to expand, we're gonna look to, need more hands on deck, whether that's through, learning, the material, being the guest. So there's many ways. Just reach out and then we'll probably figure out a way based on your skill set to how you support.
Thank you, Ivan. The last thing I want to make sure I say before we hop off is Pilgrim Layers Back is not a therapeutic services organization. We have to legally say that, because what we offer are coping mechanisms, coping skills, but we are not, save for Ivan, Shavonda, we are not licensed to take on clients. So typically when people ping me and ask, hey, can you talk to my son? Can you offer any type of therapeutic services? I refer folks to any Black led private or public practices that do offer therapeutic services. So Pilgrim Layers Back is not an organization that offers therapeutic services. We offer coping mechanisms to help someone cope with mental health. So I just want to make sure that that distinction is there. But again, thank you guys for tuning in today to the virtual watch party, celebrating this historic and groundbreaking moment of us being on Good Morning America. This is literally just the beginning. I thank all my staff, all the volunteers, the Cope Kingz, our board, and I thank you for watching, man. So thank you guys.